Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge here with another day of Elestrals Firestorm reveals. Today we are finally circling back to Hermes and getting the rest of the Hermes stuff. There's some really exciting stuff in here, so we're just going to get right into it. We don't really have anything to discuss with the collection numbers. Okay, so first we have Spy Nymph. This is the one card that we knew. We were able to decipher it completely from the binder images. This is a 2/4. When you normal cast it, you get to search your deck for Hermes. You can disenchant a wind from the Spy Nymph in order to special ascend it to Spinal Sec from your hand or deck. I've been thinking for a bit that there's a decent possibility that the Spinal Sec will have an effect that can put a wind onto the Spy Nymph so that you can immediately special ascend, which would be really, really cool and turn this into a much more proactive searcher. And that is actually kind of exactly what happened. So, this is Spinal Sect. This is a 5/7 Earth Wind. When you cast it, you get to bounce an Elestral to its owner's hand, non-targeting, very good. When this Spinal Sect is sent from your field or deck to your underworld, you can nexus up to 2 wind. So when you dump this off of Hermes, after casting out the Spy Nymph, you can then nexus a wind from Hermes to Spy Nymph, and that will let you disenchant a wind to then get another Spinal Sec from your deck. This does require you to run 2 Spinal Secs, and if you draw either of them, the combo is entirely dead. There's a really cool thing it enables, though, the fact that you have to be running 2, and you dump a Spinal Sec and then get another Spinal Sec onto field. That does enable something really, really cool with one of the other Hermes cards. I'm going to talk about it in a bit, but you probably won't be in on that because there's a much better payoff for Hermes stuff that you always want to be spending that first Hermes dump on if you can help it. So then we have, there's also a Stellar for Spy Nymph, which is cool. Then we have Cockadoodle. This is a 4/1, 1 wind. When this Cockadoodle is sent from your field or deck to your underworld, you can suppress a card on the field until the next turn. This is okay. It has the same problem as Champ Pop, where this doesn't really do anything. However, this has hidden text that makes this a lot more potentially impactful than Werepup is able to be, and also there is a really good reason to want to be on more Cockadoodle names. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Dracodoodle, because this card is the heart and soul of Hermes as an archetype. This is like this should have been the full art. Carry Off is really cool, but this card should have gone to the full art because this card is the heart and soul of the deck. So Dracodoodle is a 6/2, 2 wind. When a Cockadoodle is sent to your underworld, you can special cast this Dracodoodle from your underworld with 2 wind. You may only play 1 Dracodoodle this way each turn. This Dracodoodle gets +2 attack for each suppressed card on the field. So if you went into it with Champ Cockadoodle, then you will have something suppressed on your opponent's field, and it's going to be 8 attack. But 6 attack is going to be enough in most scenarios. In the vast majority of scenarios, the 6/2 stat line is going to be enough. Yes, it dies to Cryoblast, but that's fine. Because very similarly to how Champ Full Tempest turns every Champion of Zeus into a Hydrake that doesn't lose the suppression and goes directly into Full Tempest, this is very similar, but you're going into the Twin Drake instead. However, the trade-off for that is you don't have any of the requirements, any of the maintenance that you have with Full Tempest, because Full Tempest requires you to have no other Elestrals on your field. It requires you to keep Zeus up, and it requires you to have the Full Tempest in hand. For Dracodoodle, you just need to set up an underworld, and it's live for the entire game. Every single Cockadoodle that you play is now a Hydrake. It is now a Hydrake that turns into this Dracodoodle from the underworld. And it has a better base stat line than Twindra in a really important way. Like, yes, it dies to Cryoblast. However, it is a 6, which means it gets over Astrabbits and other 5s inherently, which is really, really important. This is just a really nice card. Like, this card is really good. I really wish this got a full art. I wish this got a full art because it's so good. Like, it instantly saves the deck, and it's not even like the last super good card that Hermes is getting. Let's talk about Hermes' specialized rune, Hermes' Trickery. So, oh yeah, there's a reverse stellar cockatoodle. Yeah. Okay, Hermes Trickery. So this is a counter rune, 1 wind. So as we've discussed before, Exaltair points very strongly in the direction of there being a Hermes counter rune that can revive wind guys. Now, I thought that would only be 1-cost winds, because that on its own would be really, really strong. This is a bit more, it's a bit more conditional than that, but it's also stronger in a lot of ways. So Hermes' Trickery is a 1-wind counter rune that can only be played if Hermes is enchanted. So it does require you to keep Hermes up for this to be live. Destroy an Elestral on your field. If you do, special cast another Elestral from your underworld using only spirits that were enchanting the destroyed Elestral. So, this lets you, for example, your Dracodoodle is about to get got by a Cryoblast. Okay, you can flip up Hermes' Trickery, pay a wind off of it because you're only going to need the 1 wind. Then you trade out the Dracodoodle for a Cockadoodle or another wind 1 cost in your underworld, like Exaltair, which is going to be a 6 and is going to live battle no matter what this turn. The Spinal Stack thing before I was talking about, so doing the Spinal Stack Special Ascension with Hermes sets up another Spinal Stack in your underworld. So you can go Hermes Trickery, destroy your Spinal Stack on the field, bring back the Spinal Stack from your underworld, properly enchanted, and its on-cast effect will now bounce something on your opponent's field back to their hand during their turn, which is insane. Super good. You can go for Piga stuff, Nemasail stuff to just get some healing or rune removal going. This is a really, really powerful card. Very impressed by this card. There's a world where you don't run this card because of the Hermes enchantment requirement, where you just run 2 copies of it. It's part of your counter lineup off to the side. But this card is able to do a lot of really powerful stuff. Lets you dodge removal, which is extremely potent. It's most likely you're going to run 2 Dracodoodles, so that if you draw into 1, you still have 1 to dump from your deck, because it's really important to get that card going. And if you get 2 in rotation, you can just go, okay, you try and pop my Dracodoodle. I'm going to go pop the Dracodoodle, bring back the other Dracodoodle. Or you go, okay, you've switched my Dracodoodle to defense, so it can very easily be walked over. I'm going to swap it out for something else. That's going to be an attack, force a crash with the Eddy. You can go okay, so pop off the Dracodoodle, bring back a Cockadoodle in attack, and now the Eddy that's trying to swing in will have to crash in. Zeus downgrades aren't going to apply anymore to the new Elestral. There's so much with this card, and Dracodoodle on its own would probably be enough for this archetype to be viable, because Hydrake going into Twindra is really powerful. And while this does require Hermes to set up, once you use Hermes to set it up, it's just live forever. It's just live forever. Up to 6 copies of Cockadoodle in your deck will all convert into Dracodoodles if they die by anything. That's one of the very important edges, compared to Champion of Zeus stuff, having basically their own Volt Tempest. In addition to not dying to suppression the way Hydrake does, this also works on removal effects, which is just very, very good. It's so good. And it works infinite number of times. It works infinitely. As long as you have the spirits, it works forever. You can get multiple casts off in a turn by going, okay, I'm going to dump one of my champ Cockadoodles with Hermes, bring back a Dracodoodle off of that, and then I still have my normal cast as normal cast out like Nemesil or something. There's so much with this card. Like, this is such a cool card that has a lot of different things you can do with it. And it's worth noting, original Cockadoodle from Frostfall is a really good card. That card's been seeing sideboard play this format because it looks at a Werepup or a Galaxy and goes, okay, you lose. Like, you see a Werepup on your opponent's field and you go, okay, cast Cockadoodle, suppress your suppress your Werepup, and even if you have a full moon here, it's not going to have the effect by time it would be going onto the chain. So it's not able to happen. And now you get more scenarios where, like, okay, my opponent has a Spectre out. I'm going to cast out Cockadoodle. Cockadoodle is going to suppress the Specteris, so it cannot gain +1 attack. Then I'm going to crash in, and then I'm going to get a Dracodoodle back from my Underworld, and that Dracodoodle is going to swing in for 2 damage. Like, the biggest thing you have to worry about with this deck is that it can potentially run through spirits really, really quickly, which has always been like a wind problem. But if you're able to get enough healing going, this is extremely powerful. Also, of note that this doesn't really care about if the Cockadoodle is misenchanted, so you can just misenchant it with like a water so that you don't get tsunami'd. Swing in, crash in, bring out the Dracodoodle. Lots of stuff you're able to do. Lots of stuff you're able to do with this card. This card is so good. Like, single-handedly ensures that, like, Hermes is an archetype to respect. I don't see, like, after this reveal and, like, the cool stuff you can do with Hermes' trickery as well, I don't see any world in which this is not, like, at least decent. Like, this definitely seems like it'll be a viable strategy in the post-Firestorm environment, which is really cool. It's looking like there's going to be something decent out of Champion of Poseidon, Champion of Zeus, and Champion of Hermes. And because we now know that there's going to be a Champion of Arachne for Hestia, there is a chance that Hestia ends up saving itself by leaning in on the Ascending into a 2-cost stuff if that card is really, really good. But even if it's not, Champion of Hephaestus looks really good, so we've got something from Fire that's looking really, really good anyways. Like, wow, this, like... And the thing is, this, like, dedicated archetypal strategy is not the only thing that Hermes has going for it. Like, even if the archetype didn't pan out, Hermes already had 2 really strong things going for it. One, it would be a really easy piece into any wind-based Rise from the Ashes stupid turbo deck. Like, you're trying to do original Flammoth stuff, and you go, okay, I can Tower of the Winds into this, but I can also use Hermes to dump Flammoth and then Rise from the Ashes for it. And you've also got the Carry-On stuff, which can be used to enable any 2-cost Ascension that involves a wind in its cost. That's a really good enabler for that, and you need Hermes for that to work. Yeah, this is really, really good stuff. I really like where Hermes has ended up. In spite of everyone going, oh no, Hermes probably isn't going to pan out to anything, Carry-Off isn't enough, which it really isn't. Like, you probably don't even run Carry-Off, at least in the main board of this deck. It's probably something you carry in the sideboard, because in some matchups, having access to that spot removal will probably be very, very clutch. But I don't think you mainboard it. But, like, there's, like, 3 different pretty powerful things you can be doing with Hermes. And I'm pretty sure at least this archetypal version will see some success in the Firestorm meta. Yeah, very impressed by these cards. Very excited to play with these cards. These cards are super cool. There's just a lot of cool lines you're able to do with this. To like some of my favorite lines in Elestrals are lines that allow you to like maneuver around your opponent's potential counter runes. And these Hermes cards are a bunch of cards that allow you to maneuver around your opponent's counter runes. So very cool stuff. Like it a lot.